Hey listeners, before we get into this episode, I just wanted to let you know that it is a little shorter than our other usual episodes. This is not intentional. We unfortunately had a lot of audio interference while recording this episode. So I just want to say we will have this wonderful guest on again throughout the year to hear all about their wonderful travels. We are very new to this whole podcasting world, and I just want to say thank you so much for bearing with us while we perfect our process. And I promise we will try and get better and better with each episode we record. So without further ado, here is episode 5. All the juice straight from the maker booth. Welcome to the Booth Juice. I am so excited to introduce our next guest to the Booth Juice. She is a person that has been in my life since I was very little. An amazing mum, an amazing wife, very adventurous, fashion designer, and the owner of Tess Print and Embroidery and Anchorline, Australia. Please welcome Tessa.
Thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you so much for coming on. I am so excited to delve into your wonderful businesses and your life in Port Douglas. So maybe we'll start with a bit of an introduction on your businesses, if you want to tell everyone kind of what you do.
For sure, yeah. So we have two businesses. We have Anchorline Australia, which is an aquatic outdoor clothing brand where we sell online, but also in a few retail outlets as well. And then we have a production business, which is called Tess Print and Embroidery, and that is sort of the production side of the business for the brand. So we do a lot of the decorating and the printing and stuff ourselves. But we also do customized gear for people like yourselves and a lot of the trades around town. So a lot of the small businesses in the Shire, if they're wearing a customized shirt or hat or anything, we've pretty much done it.
Yeah, Tessa makes our maker caps as well, so shout out to these guys for that. Backtracking a little bit, so you have grown up here in the tropics. Can you tell us what it's like growing up and then, starting your family up here as well?
For sure, like Port Douglas is just such a special place to grow up, and Far North Queensland as a whole, and I feel so grateful and blessed that I was able to have the childhood that I had. I was born here and spent our school holidays caretaking the island just off the coast here, so we were living quite remotely for a couple of weeks at a time, literally on the little island, going snorkeling every day, doing jobs, that kind of thing.
So good.
Sometimes my parents would bundle us into the tinny with a couple of tents and head off to a remote beach that you could only get to by boat, and we would stay there for weeks at a time sometimes, depending on the weather. The weather might crack up and we'd get stuck there and we'd be eating lentils and rice until we could get home again. But it was just the best childhood. Boating, snorkeling, fishing, horse riding. We had horses growing up, so I rode around the valley that we lived in. We were always, hiking up waterfalls and stuff like that. So I feel very fortunate, very grateful to my parents for giving me that childhood, because it's definitely shaped my outlook on life. And it also made me realise, that's the kind of childhood I want to give my kids too.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that's so nice. So you obviously grew up in Port Douglas then. Did you go to high school locally?
Yeah, so I did start off at the local school here, but in the second year in, my mum could tell that I was just really, really passionate about art, performing arts and visual arts, so she then moved me to a school in Cairns. And that's where I sort of was able to really harbour that, love for the arts, and really, really got involved, started doing a lot of sewing and designing. The school was fantastic for that. They really encouraged it and let me sort of just be in the art room as much as I wanted to be. So I would stay after school and be there before school, and I basically just lived in the art room.
Yeah.
After high school, I did a degree at university, which was a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Fashion Design. I did that down in Brisbane at QUT University, and it was a fantastic degree. I learnt so much in the fashion industry, and also a lot of technical stuff like all the pattern making and everything like that, as well as a lot of graphic skills and a bit of photography incorporated. When I finished uni, though, it was really clear that I'm not a city girl, and I'd sort of done my degree and done my time in the city, but I really was just keen to get out of the city. All the job offers in the fashion industry that we were getting were for city-based places, so I made the decision to come back up north. So I moved back up to North Queensland, and I actually started working as a photographer on the boats.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. So I spent a lot of my time under the water. I was working as a diver, filming other people going diving. So literally spending sometimes 5 to 6 hours a day underwater. Became a bit of a fish. But I was using photography, so I was kind of still using stuff that I'd learned at uni. And I did that for quite a while, and then I got an opportunity to go and work as a photographer on a boat overseas, and then that sort of took me and started me on my traveling journey.
Oh, that is so interesting. So like where else did you get to travel? Did you like work overseas? Tell us a bit more about that.
Yeah, so when I first left Australia, I was working in Indonesia on a boat, and I worked doing that for 6 months as an underwater photographer. And then that sort of took me over to Europe. I did South America, Europe, worked in various places around there. And then I actually ended up doing 3 seasons in Antarctica and a season in the Arctic. So yeah, I really got to move around. After my time in Antarctica, I did write a little children's book called Go Jojo Go, which was illustrated with photographs that I'd taken while I was living down there.
I still have that book actually. I vividly remember, I think I was only like, maybe like 11. Tess did like a book launch reading and signed all of the copies, and I do remember my brother and I lining up feeling so excited because Auntie Tess has written a book, and we were just so excited to be there. And yeah, we've still got that book at home somewhere.
So cute. I actually have a really sweet photo of you and Reef sitting in the front row. Like, I think maybe your mum took it as behind me reading, and you and Reef sitting in the front row just looking at me like this. It's very cute.
I think we were just so besotted by, like, because obviously mum would show us photos of your travels, and we knew that like Tess was traveling and doing all these amazing things, and when you came back we were like, oh my gosh, she's a celebrity. And I think Reef and I were just like, oh my god, we want to live like that, how amazing. And yeah, it was, looking back on it, I think, oh, how cute. Like, yeah. For context as well, Tess is Nova's auntie as well, so everyone's very intertwined. And Tess is one of my parents' friends, and I grew up as one of the eldest of all the kids of the parents' friends, so if that makes sense.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, so
it's amazing to see, people like you now. That I've watched you as a little toddler getting round at the barbecues, and now you've grown into this inspirational superwoman of a person.
Oh gosh,
so cool.
no. But it is funny because I'm like, oh, now I'm Nova's boss, and that seems so bizarre. Because I'm like, she still calls me Rainy as well. Like, there's only a few people in this world that call me Rainy, and when other people hear that, they're like, oh, okay, that's weird. They must be close. So you've had this incredible life, and then so is this the point where you decided to do TS and Anchorline, or is there another reason that came about?
I know, pretty random. It's an interesting path to get there, that's for sure. So when I sort of was done with all my travelling, I moved back to Far North Queensland. I met my wonderful husband, Sid, and we had a fishing charter business, actually. So I'm still in the boating industry. He was a skipper as well, so we're both very into boats. We ended up wanting to, when we had our first child, Pearl, we decided we really wanted to just work for ourselves so that we had full flexibility. So we bought a fishing charter business, and we had that for about 5 years. During the time that we had the fishing charter business, it was probably a couple of years into it, we were really struggling because Sid was out at sea for 12 hours a day, and it was just so hot out there, especially in the middle of summer, and he couldn't find anything to wear that would give him long sleeves and full sun protection, but that was cool enough for the Far North Queensland climate up here. What we were finding was all the fishing shirts on the market were made overseas, and they just weren't made for the Australian climate because, like, where we live is harsh. So yeah, I had this idea, which probably came to me in the middle of the night, which is when all the great ideas always pop into my head, and I sort of thought, oh, there might be a better way of doing this. I'm going to start looking into it. So I started reaching out to some Australian suppliers and looking at different options for making our own fishing shirts for the crew on the boats. And essentially, after a lot of research and development, that's what we came up with. So I came up with a great design. We did the first run and we gave them to the crew to wear on the boats. And then the feedback that we got from the crew was just so positive. They all came back in going, oh, this is awesome. It's just so much better out there being able to wear a shirt that's actually built for the heat.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I own a few of your shirts and they're ridiculous. Like, they've got such good airflow, and Marley will never buy another fishing shirt again. Like, he hates all the other brands now.
Oh.
He's so, only buys Anchorline now.
That is awesome. So one of the big things we did was we put a panel down the side, vented panels down both sides, which allows for airflow to go through. So it lets the hot air out when your body's getting really hot, but it also means if there's any kind of breeze around, it just flows through the shirt. So the crew absolutely loved these shirts. So then we decided to make a few more so that we could sell them on the boats to the passengers, the people that were coming out fishing with us, and they sold really well. And then Anchorline just grew from there. So we sort of realised there was definitely a gap in the market for something like this. So I started doing different designs. We eventually launched the website in 2019. And then it all went from there.
I love when a business just grows organically because of a problem that they've solved as well. Like, it's not, you're not out there trying to be a billionaire or anything. You're just purely so passionate about trying to solve the problem. So it's just, I mean, I love Anchorline because your products are so amazing, but your background and stuff as well makes it so wonderful to support. Definitely.
100%. We were definitely sort of just going, all right, there's a niche in the market for this because there's a problem there that needs solving. And so,
So was it then at that point that you thought, oh, okay, we're starting to do so much production, maybe we should take over, how did TS come about?
TS Print. So, well, pretty much. So, Anchorline started growing, and at the point we had 2 little kids, and it was too much having the fishing charter business and the growing brand, which was, sort of moving quite quickly. So we ended up selling the fishing charter business and just focusing on the brand. But then TS Print, who were actually a local supplier helping us with printing some of our t-shirts and stuff, that became available to buy. So we then bought that business and took it over and sort of grew it. So now we do a lot of the production ourselves. We do as much of the production ourselves as what we can. And then everything else we try to source either locally or within Australia. We're all about sustainability. Our factory here in Port Douglas has a 25 kilowatt solar system on the roof. We use all organic chemicals for all our cleaning our screens and everything. Yeah. So we're all about sustainability, supporting local and doing Australian made wherever we can.
Apart from your ventilated panels on the side, is there anything else that stands out with your products that maybe why they went so bonkers and why they're so popular?
Yeah, definitely. So I think the panels on the side and the fact that we use really high quality, really lightweight materials, but they're still UPF 50 plus, so they give you full sun protection. But I think a big thing, honestly, is just that our designs are really subtle. So a lot of fishing shirts that you see on the market are quite loud and full on. Some of them
the
will have
photography ones with the big barrel on,
like a dead pig.
There's just so many.
So that was another thing. Was like my husband would just never be caught dead wearing one of those, something that loud and in your face. So our designs are really subtle, really simple. Where we do have artwork on them, it's often just one of my hand-drawn, like the hand-drawn crayfish or the mackerel or something like that. The colours are really sort of soft and neutral, and that was just a big thing. We wanted to make shirts that weren't just for fishing, but for everything. So a lot of our customers wear them cycling, hiking. We sell a lot to the spearfishing community. Just anyone that's out there in the sun these days has to be covered up. We all know the risks of skin cancer. So we wanted to make a product that was more general and, just more widely received, really.
And I feel like you've been able to include women as well. Like, those typical fishing shirts and everything are so directed at, masculine style. It's so beautiful to see like all the women wearing your products as well.
100%.
For that same reason, I suppose.
It's the same thing. I was just never drawn to the ones with the big loud designs, and so I thought, well, what would I wear, or what would my friends and family wear? And so I started designing around that. Yeah.
So you've mentioned your two beautiful little daughters and your husband Sid. Can you tell us a bit more about what goes on outside of your business? I know that you guys are very adventurous.
Yes. For anyone that's met my hubby, you'll know that he's not one to sit still. So we're always off on an adventure, whether it's, you know, out on the boat for a day spearing and snorkeling, or hiking up a waterfall, or going camping for a couple of weeks, or doing Cape York, that kind of thing. We just love getting out and about, and our two little girls really enjoy it too.
Yeah.
Like, you know, some of the time we're sort of forcing them up a waterfall or something, but most of the time they absolutely love it. They just thrive on it. I want to give them a bit of the childhood that I had, and so and Sid makes lots of very funny
Oh, he's the best at
videos.
making videos. I check Facebook purely just to see what Sid's up to, honestly. I'm like, oh, what's this video? But I just think it's so nice that you're raising your girls to, you know, not feel like it's only the boys that are out in the boats and, you know, on the motorbikes and doing that sort of thing as well. Like, I'm very grateful to have had maybe a similar childhood to you, where, like, our friends, it was so normal. It was, regardless of you're a male or a female, you're out having a go, camping, fishing, everything. And I think it's really nice to see that they're carrying that on for your girls as well.
Definitely, yeah, I really love it. We're actually going today to pick up a caravan because we're going to Western Australia to live on the beach for 4 months.
Oh my goodness, I didn't know
We're
this.
taking Anchorline to WA. We send a lot of gear to Western Australia. Yeah, and we're just picking up the caravan today. So that's the next big adventure in the pipeline for Anchorline. We're going to be filming and shooting content the whole way, and we're going to be visiting a few retail outlets over there.
That's fantastic.
Very exciting.
I feel like that is the best way to wrap this up. What an exciting thing to look forward to. And if you guys are wanting to watch their amazing adventures, where should you send them?
We're on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and all of our handles are just Anchorline Australia, all one word, very easy to find. Follow along.
Yeah,
Laugh
definitely. Go and watch Sid's videos because they're awesome.
Have a laugh with us.
Yeah, it's so much fun. Oh, well, thank you so much for being on the podcast today. We will maybe have you on again maybe throughout the year so that we can hear all about your adventures in WA. But yeah, for now, please make sure to hit the follow button so that we can keep telling these amazing stories from all these local people. And thank you for being with us.
Oh, thanks so much for having me, Rain.